Morning, everybody. I am here on this bright and sunny Thursday, even though it's not really bright and sunny. It is only 30 degrees outside, and it's 8:45. But I am here with my rainbow. I've had several requests to do a rainbow video and to do a rainbow update and to do a rainbow versus Kirby and a rainbow this and a rainbow that. And it's difficult to do because not only are you dragging out a canister vacuum that honestly really does have to all be stored detached, but you also have to go fill up the water basin, and this water basin has gotten filmy, so I had to scrub it out with a um what do you want to call it, like a Scotch Brite, like a Brillo pad, because I had that rainbow air freshener stuff, the green that smells like Listerine, but it's not quite as potent, and it's not as good as the old stuff. It really isn't. If you've had the older kind that came in the jug compared to this, I've heard so many different stories. Some people say it foams up too much, some people say it doesn't foam at all, but some people say you need a lot, and then some people say you don't need a lot. I do feel that you do need a lot, and it just builds up a coating on the inside, and it has to be scrubbed off with a Brillo pad. Otherwise, it stays on there, and that stuff does leave residual smell too. It's not unpleasant, but you have to kind of scrub it out. So, and of course, you can't get into a lot of these cracks and crevices inside, so that's kind of a pain. And if you have big hands, I don't see any reason why you couldn't fit your hand in the top of the basin, but I guess it's possible. So, I am here with my rainbow E2 Black Illuminate is what they call it now. Or they always have, but I've always just called it the E2 Black. And I'm just doing like a 1 year update on this. So, and I find it funny, right here, it's a hose with water with a big X through it, but they say that this is your all-in-one hose that is electric safe to be used with water. So, and I believe that might be because this is like recessed, really far back. Um, but I don't know. So, there are some likes and dislikes, and I was gonna write them down so I didn't miss any and then have to comment later, but I'm just gonna run through the things that I know first off, like right off the bat. So I'll start out with the likes. Overall, the rainbow canister is very well made, but you can hear it. It does have like a creaky sound in spots. That's just at the handle, but it does have some sounds to it. It also, I guess that's not a like, is it? I should wait for that one. It has a nice silicone grip handle. This whole piece down here is a silicone, like rubber feel. So it's very comfortable to hold and carry around. Is it honestly necessary for it to be silicone grip? No, because you're supposed to use the dolly, which I have hanging up. I actually put it through a coat hanger and I just hang it up so it doesn't take up a bunch of space. And then I do that with my vacuum hoses too. I hang them coiled up and looped over a clothes hanger, and I just hang them up so they're not in the way. And they're not laying on the ground. Nobody can step on them, especially these piano wire the ones that have piano wire in them. The next thing I will say is, overall, I mean, it is pretty nicely made. And I like the color scheme. I like that there is a definite upgrade to this model compared to some of the previous models and the previous generations. I hope that's not a permanent scratch. The power nozzle, I love that they did finally a quick connect, quick disconnect through the entire machine. It's not even that you have to hook up the electric like on the Filter Queen's quick connect. Because for me, somebody who takes that off the hose anyway after I'm done vacuuming, it is another plug that you have to deal with, even if it's not at the handle. So that is nice. Also, they did lights on the power nozzle, which many of you probably already know this, but these are the things that I really like in a canister, and I'm glad that Rainbow kind of tagged on board. This is also the newer, there. This is the newer power nozzle. It doesn't have the center drive belt. The belt is on one of these sides. I think it's on the right side. Yeah, it's right here, my right. And it has these edge spinner brushes. And I guess I can flip this over for my other part of the dislike part. Overall, though, it is relatively nice to use. It does clean pretty well. So I'll move on to the dislikes, which is kind of a little bit more extensive, but of course I still own it and I still use it and I still love it. So keep that in mind. Don't get all hostile on me. For one, like I said, it does creak a little bit. Overall, it doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart or anything. It's just because it's all made out of plastic, except for the wands. That's the only part of this vacuum that isn't plastic. The next portion would be when you turn it on, it's not too bad, but when you've got it on the dolly, it kind of vibrates, especially if you're not on like a solid piece of flooring, maybe if you have a basement or something, or you're upstairs. It'll even do it on carpet. And when you power it down, it has this resonating vibration sound to it that apparently is on all these rainbows do it, and I believe it's just because of the brushless motor. I've never used any of the other E2 models. I've only used a D and a D2 rainbow other than this E2 illuminate. So not too bad. The cord is kind of short on it. It's not super long, and there is no way to quick disconnect it. I've seen people do this before where they take off the blower port cover. I don't recommend that because this is just a plastic tab that holds it on. And if you break that, then it won't go back on. Is the vacuum still going to run? Sure it will. And is it going to affect its performance? No, it won't. But it will eventually break over time because plastic isn't meant to do that like regularly. Even with a high quality piece like a rainbow, even if it was designed to do that, because I'm sure somebody will end up saying that, oh, it was designed to be released like that. I still don't agree with that. I don't, it's not that I'm not agreeing with it was designed to do that. I don't agree with the way that they did it, if that is the design. Because it's fumbly for one. At least you get a designated cord wrap though. But I just don't like that. I'm not saying it needs to be a retractable cord. I'm just saying I liked the previous generation that had the pinch sliders that wrapped it up better. And I have this floor brush, and I don't understand the way that this thing goes on. It won't stay on like that. It won't. I don't understand how it fits on the vacuum. I just do not understand. I've seen people have it on there, and I can't get it to. So, and I don't know how it would go on there with the cord not being on, or with the cord being on the vacuum. Moving on, and I've said this in another video, the handle on this thing is extremely thin. This is my thumb, and that's the handle. My thumb's wider than the handle. So it makes it very cumbersome to grab almost. If the handle was as big around as this, it would be so much nicer. But because this is so skinny and it's kind of deeper than it is wide, it makes it kind of difficult to steer, I think, because the power nozzle is so chunky that this just, I don't know. I feel like you're gripping nothing. So, to me, something that would be a little more easier to grip. And I know people are going to disagree. I know people are going to be mad that I said that or something, and they don't have any complaints. But I don't have small hands, and to me, it's not very grippy, and it's very skinny. And I don't know if the older generations had that, but it will get uncomfortable if you're vacuuming rooms and rooms and rooms of carpet. And I find it hard to control the power nozzle on certain carpeting surfaces because of this handle. You also have this trigger right here. Not my preference. I think they could have just easily have done just an on-off switch, because I find when I'm vacuuming hard floors, you will guaranteed accidentally bump this switch and turn it on if you don't want to use the hard floor brush. And say, oh, well, that's just because you don't want to use the hard floor brush. Sometimes it's you don't want to use it. If you just got to hit that really quick, or you're just going between rooms, you don't want to pick up the power nozzle and you're just kind of vacuuming as you go, yeah, you'll hit this on accident and it will just turn on, and it'll turn on, and it'll turn on, and when you let go it'll turn off, but it gets annoying and it'll kind of tug itself. So I think they should have just done a power switch, and I understand that this will lock into place, but mine, it just doesn't feel like, I mean, you can hear it. Well, now it's stuck. Yeah, so now I can't even get mine to lock into place. That's not on. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe I broke it. It used to slide back farther. So I don't even know if that'll lock into place anymore. So, enough said. And when you want to just hit something really quick, like along a baseboard, you can't really not use a tool, because this metal end is so sharp and thin that it will leave a mark on furniture or something like that. I know some people don't like using crevice tools, but with this you almost have to use a crevice tool or a tool in general, because it will scratch the surface you're gliding this across, unless it's carpeting. But if you're doing up against an edge, it will even mark furniture, like your oh, here we go, I got this to work again. This is a wearable part, I think. But it will mark even furniture. It'll leave, especially if you have leather or something, it will mark that, because it's not rounded off. It's pretty sharp, really thin metal. So anyway, but I do like how long the hose is, because in some of my rooms I can just leave the rainbow at the threshold or the door thing, the door frame, and I can just vacuum the whole room and I don't have to bring the rainbow in. So I do like that. I should have mentioned that. I do have a cover for this, so, because I've heard of people going around a corner, this was flopping around and it whacked off the wall and it broke the tab. So I do have a cover so you can't break the tabs. Moving on to the power nozzle. And again, I know I'm going to get hate for this. I should probably start a part 2 video.